Gotta be honest, Chinese media not treating San Francisco real well prior to them welcoming members of the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Conference coming into town in San Francisco. Yep, San Francisco is slammed as a ruined city, number one, and number two, as hell by the Chinese media ahead of this conference, as city officials try to clean up the streets by blasting the Star Wars theme to get homeless people and open-air drug markets taken care of. We know we've been polishing the turd in San Francisco. We've got all these federal agencies coming in and doing a little crackdown on the fetty folks that are buying, selling, using. Yeah. Is that going to work? Is it going to matter? Well, according to Chinese media, San Fran is too far gone. Let's get into it. Let's see exactly what San Fran is saying. Here we go. San Francisco has been blasted as a ghost town and a ruined city by Chinese media outlets as city officials use the Star Wars theme to rid streets of homeless people. I have not heard of said Star Wars theme being played, but in reality, that's a pretty good song, right? Just that it's so epic. Just da 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 da. You know, they just get into it. Star Wars was such a great movie. I mean, it just really told the tale of humanity, didn't it? Those X-Wing fighters, R2-D2, C-3PO, Chewbacca. I mean, it just went on and on and on. After the first three Star Wars movies, I lost interest. Got to be honest. I'm like, don't really care. First three were epic, though. That was true Star Wars. The beleaguered California city has been labeled a total failure by some Chinese-based outlets as the city prepares to host Chinese President Xi Jinping next week. The spotlight will be on the city as the Chinese president meets with President Biden for the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. I'm sure this will go fine. I'm sure nothing will happen. I mean, Chinese people won't be, chased down the sidewalks or the streets in the Tenderloin. They're going to be okay. Those whacked out drug addicts are going to go, oh, you're from China? Oh, hall pass. There you go. Would you like some fetty? Yeah. How's this going to go? I don't know. It's going to be pretty entertaining, I think, though. Is it all going to just be cleaned up? And by cleaned up, I mean any incidents that happen. Oh, nothing happened here. That's all good. It's all right. I mean, there's a couple of Chinese folks that are in the hospital, but it's big city crime. You can't get too worked up about things. It's an economic cooperation summit. We had cooperation. It's all good. While the city gears up for the event, U.S. Chinese radio used the headline, Ghost Town, San Francisco to have major blood exchange as APEC will bring the safest week in history to the city. Well, I mean, there's some exaggerations there. The safest week in history to the city? Okay. All right. I mean, okay. I see where you're headed with that. But what they're saying is, hey, whatever street conditions you see over there, it's because they just recently cleaned it up. Other headlines include the phrases garbage city. That's a good one. Ruined city. All right. I'm not going to disagree. Garbage city. Absolutely. Yes. Ruined city. Yes. But you could say that about many West Coast cities with Democratic run governances, right? And fallen city. Yeah, it has fallen. I don't think anybody disagrees with any of these terms. As crippling drug issues and widespread homeless problems continue to cause problems for the city. And that's why city officials in San Fran, they've brought the feds in. And because the window on getting people into jail on a federal level is like 30 days. It could be years, if ever, on the state or local level. So you bring a bunch of feds in, you arrest people, throw them in jail. They're trying to get the suppliers of fentanyl off the streets for just a scooch in time so that they can have their economic conference. Everybody looks around and goes, God, that was the greatest thing ever. San Francisco, what's anybody worried about? Criminal activity, we've got none. And the minute that conference is over, boom, things go back to normal. That's exactly how this will go, right? Kind of like right after the All-Star game happened and Taylor Swift happened. All right, we can now take off the makeup and now we can show our real selves, right? Just let things happen. All right. This is what I look like in the morning when I first wake up, right? So, so you got, all right, here's outside of the federal building. Here's outside of the Nancy Pelosi federal building. Got a guy with, no arm, bunch of people sitting around, either doing drugs, selling drugs, whatever. All right, here you go. You got more people doing a whole bunch of drugs on the sidewalk. Somebody smoking a little fentanyl there. I mean, as you do. The city has struggled with an overdose epidemic, particularly driven by the spread of the synthetic opioid fentanyl. Now, where do the chemicals for fentanyl come from? I'm trying to remember. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Was it China? Was it China? So you're coming to a conference and you're saying it's crappy, but you essentially created all the chemicals. You supply all the chemicals to Mexico. So some would say this is a tad bit hypocritical. You caused it. China, you got all the basics for the drugs. We're not sending over fully put together fentanyl, but you're sure shipping it to the cartels in Mexico, and they're more than happy to take whatever you've got and just go, all right, yeah, we'll send it up to the States. Another headline from the Chinese site Phoenix also said the city had fallen into a death cycle. Maybe they're getting a translation mixed up from doom loop. Do you think? Maybe a death cycle? Or maybe it is. Maybe in their eyes, San Francisco has fallen so far that they're going to go with death cycle. If it bleeds, it leads, right? So Chinese media, no different. One article also states, San Francisco was once a jewel on the West Coast of the United States. But as the Democrats advance their radical agenda, now it has become a mecca of crime. The streets are in disarray, and it is rapidly slipping towards the status of a ghost town. Well, no, I wouldn't say that's true. The downtown financial district, yeah, but that's a work from home thing. That's an economic deal. Towards the status of a ghost town, no, you still got a tremendous amount of population in San Francisco. But anywho, we'll let the ghost town thing pass. In an attempt to combat the ongoing issues, residents have also decided to start blasting the Star Wars title theme to keep homeless people from sleeping on the sidewalks. Well, at the beginning of this story, we said it was city officials, didn't we? And now we're going to go with homeless people, and this is the residents doing said things. I go with that, to have Star Wars blasting in your community. It could be worse, right? It could be worse, right? It could be polka music, right? It could be the theme from Jeopardy. It could be any child's cartoon music, except maybe Bugs Bunny. Yeah, maybe the Roadrunner. Those are some epic cartoons. One building at the corner of Van Ness Avenue and Eddy Street in the city now has 2 speakers above a bus stop to use them as a deterrent. We hear about this kind of stuff all the time, right? We've heard like 7-Eleven owners playing classical music outside. What do we have? I think we had in Seattle, North Seattle, I think there was a Costco. Is it a Costco or a Home Depot? And right outside, they had a bunch of speakers kind of, abutting a public road. And were they playing some heavy metal? I can't remember. It was loud music, whatever it was. And I think that works for a little bit, but then after a while, the homeless who are whacked out on drugs, they just are like, it's okay. It's our environment. It's like if you live next to the dump, you hear those backup beep, beep, beep sounds all the time and the crunching of garbage and all that good stuff. The San Francisco Standard reported that one unhoused person, Oscar Poncho, told them it's effing annoying. The Star Wars theme music. Oh, we can't have that. So then, therefore, we should turn it off for you because you're living for free in a tent in the sidewalk. Yeah. It's like jazz or circus music or something. It doesn't work anyway. They still poop over there with the music on. Thank you for pointing that out. That's great. Anywho, but you do too in your tent, wherever you're located. Jennifer Friedenbach, head of the Coalition on the Homelessness, she's the Coalition on the Homelessness. She is head of everything. Told the Standard that speaker systems are uncommon, but believes that they're a tactic meant to deter homeless people from settling. You had to get a quote from somebody with the Coalition on the Homelessness to figure that out. Okay. All right, guys. All right. Oh, there we go. There's Jinping. There's Jinping and his thing. All right. Now this is the actual, this is the news story. We'll kind of blow this up. So this is one of 15. San Francisco is a complete failure. A large number of companies fled and gradually turned into ghost towns. Netizens. Americans are too naive. Are we naive or just dumb? Stupid. The policy that's left in place to allow this. Yeah. Irresponsible. Ridiculous. Not reasonable. Yeah. Foolish. I think any one of those words would apply. But naive? We're naive to believe that these people are all okay living in tents. Absolutely. But naive isn't the major word I would use, right? Ridiculous. All right, here we got one. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but that's what they're saying, right? Is that last thing we had here. Okay. I haven't heard this with sound. Let's watch this one. This has got to be good, right? They're going to do some wrestling here. We got some wrestling going on. All right. Pants down. Dude in a wheelchair. Dude in a bike goes by. Okay, is that a broom? Is that a broom? Oh, I think it's a broom. Oh, strong swat with the broom while wrestling. Dog barking.
Hey, cops!
Uh-oh. Cops coming. Guy's picking up his garbage and or his belongings. Don't really know. Okay. Yep. White dude pulling up his pants. No shirt. He's upset. He's upset. All right. Stand back. White dude stepping in. He's going to take another shot because this will go better the second time around. I mean, if you are coming from China and you're not used to seeing that kind of thing, that would be alarming, right? That would be something else, wouldn't it? Let's just get back to where we were. That would be something else. I mean, to see that on the side, they're not going to have to go far to see that either. How are authorities in San Francisco, how are they going to avoid those kind of shenanigans? And speaking of shenanigans, we've got shenanigans cups somewhere. Check out the shenanigans cups. We got 3 new ones. This one's a Seattle real estate podcast. How about that right there? Yeah, you can find that too in our merch. Pretty cool. But we're doing some of the, I'm doing some Seattle real estate podcasts for the Summit channel. So you can check if you're dying to know what's going on in the real estate world. Yeah. Summit channel has got some new content from me, from yours truly. All right. So, okay. Did we go on? There's not a ton left here. But you got some stats here talking about how crime is all up. We got a mental health. It's the basic, just, hey, San Francisco's gone straight into oblivion, whatever you want to call it. We've got a massive push by the feds to kind of reel things back in, if only just for this conference, because these are international folks coming in, right? Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. So if they come in and they just rip on San Francisco, that's not going to be a good look. And that could very well happen because I'm not seeing the ability for San Francisco and its elected leaders to really put a kibosh on what they've got going on, because they can hit up that supply side. All right, we're going to arrest as many drug dealers ahead of this as we can. But as fast as those drug dealers end up in jail, new ones backfill, right? You got all the Hondurans. They're the ones slinging all the dope, right? For the cartels down in Mexico. They're just going to keep bringing new people in, just, feed the machine, because the demand component of the fentanyl, which the, drugs are created by chemicals shipped from China to Mexico, the demand component, all these whacked out homeless addicts, that's not going away because San Francisco isn't putting them away, just like Portland's not putting them away, just like Seattle's not putting them away. So they're not going to just one day go, oh, yeah, the APEC is in town. Yeah, you know what? We should really clean things up because this makes our territory look terrible, makes our hometown look terrible. Let's just give up fentanyl for, the 4 days the APEC's in town. Let's let them really get a breather from our just absolute chaotic lifestyles in tents with drugs and stolen goods and underage, trafficking victims and all the craziness that goes along with everything that San Francisco street life represents, particularly in the Tenderloin. I mean, let's just give that a break for a while. Is that going to happen just because your drug dealers have, been stopped for just a little bit? I don't think so. But, maybe what will happen is that some of the areas where all of the tourists are going to, maybe that'll get cleaned up a little bit, just a scooch. That's what happened here with Seattle when we had the All-Star Game and Taylor Swift and about 5 other major events happen throughout the course of a couple of weekends. We were able to hold things together. We literally polished the turd, put the lipstick on the pig, and made it look okay. Now, Seattle isn't nearly as bad. The downtown cores where this kind of thing is happening aren't nearly as bad in Seattle. Those have been cleaned up pretty hard. There's some other areas that are just as bad as they've ever been. But the downtown core, much better, not perfect by any means. But you've got such big areas in San Francisco, the Tenderloin in general. You're not going to clean that up just because an economic conference is coming into town. So that is exactly what the Chinese media is focusing on. And yeah, you're going to see that stuff all day long, aren't you? The wrestling. And when I say wrestling, that's because I want you to believe that they're literally they're wrestling over, who's the better wrestler on whatever, Van Ness Avenue in the Tenderloin that they're doing their gyrations and their thing on. I don't think the Chinese delegates coming from wherever in the Asia Pacific region are really going to take fondly to the wrestling that they're seeing with all the fentanyl going on. That's not going to be a good look. But you know what? Any which way you look at this, it's going to be entertaining to have a whole bunch of visitors come to San Fran, and we'll just see how this goes. Hey, I'm sure it'll be fine. People from China. Yeah, where things are a little bit more ratcheted down. Yeah, I'm sure it'll work out just swimmingly. Nobody will be accosted. Nobody will have anything negative happen to them. I'm sure they'll go home with, I don't know what they're talking about with San Fran. It was just a dream. How many tourist cars are going to get broken into during that deal? A lot, right? Because the cops are just going to be overwhelmed. Just providing security. All right. We hope none of these visitors get killed. Oh, God, that's not a good look. Have to explain that. Yeah. A bunch of them just get shot, whatever. They get mixed up in some crazy fentanyl deal. They get human trafficked. You can see that coming, right? Oh, we didn't know. Yeah. Well, it's San Fran. I read these stories every single day. Well, we decided to take a little trip to Oakland. Oh, not a good call there. Yeah, not good. Yeah, we lost all of our luggage. Car got bashed out. Bipping. Hey, you'll go back to China with a new word. Bipping, or bippin, as the locals might call it. Bippin. All right. Well, that's about it. It will be really interesting to see how this conference goes. Is it successful? Does it appear that San Fran is okay? Because this will be the biggest test that San Fran's had in a while as far as a big delegation of, foreign entities coming into the city. And, you've got Biden there, you've got Jinping there, and we'll just see how that goes. I'll report back later. Hopefully we'll have some shenanigans to talk about. How's that? All right. Thanks for being here again. We'll catch up on the next one. Bye for now.